Okay, so hello. This video is for what you need to turn off to use the base at regional development level 12 and 14, I suppose, since it's actually pretty simple to use either one of those. Helped a person recently with that and realized, like, oh wait, this is much simpler than the last video I did on it, so I wanted to put out an updated version in case someone comes across this. Alright, so here's what you need to do. In a ruling city, you will have a different layout of your base, namely over here, but don't worry, it all works the same, okay? So don't worry about that. So what you'll need to turn off is this packaging unit. This guy gets turned off, okay? We're not making stuff out of that. And you can leave everything else on, surprisingly. All of this will auto work as it's supposed to, but I would advise just for your balancing needs, you can turn your gearing units off as well. These three gearing units, you turn these on as you need them, so they're not really part of this, okay? These are what you already operate. Yes, this packaging unit can stay on. Yes, these fitting units can stay on. You should also have a little splitter over here for cuprium parts, so, you know, make sure you're letting that run, okay? So, if you need them. That's actually it. That's all you really need to turn off. Now, if you do not have 12 Forges of the Sky, right, you have something under that. 8, what was I think 8, and then 6, was it 8, 12, 8, 4, maybe? 12, 8, 4, 2? Something like that. When you're placing the blueprints down, actually, I guess you probably run into this problem already, but when you're placing the blueprints down, you basically have to delete stash Forges of the Sky on the blueprints before. I would tell people to start here on these 4, because they are in a group of 4, they're easy to get to. But if you need to delete more, you just delete as you need to from behind. You just stash them. And as you stash, make sure, or you don't actually have to, but if you'd like to, you can turn off the facilities by highlighting them all. And on the right here, you'll see this says tab switch facility on off. That's what you can do. You can tab, if you're on controller, you'll see something different. I think it's something else on mobile, so you can do that as well. The most you should really have to get rid of is 4. I think if you're using under 8, you might be a little too under-leveled in regional development for this build, so... but I would advise getting to level... getting the test area done as soon as possible so that you can get all 12 Forges of the Sky running. Alright, so that's all you have to do here, is make sure this packaging unit is off. That will keep your stuff from bricking. Alright, now, let's go to... Nothing has to get changed in Jingu Valley. Don't worry about Jingu. That place kind of runs on its own now. But out here in Markerstone, what you'll need is how you'll kind of balance out the factory, okay? So, in Markerstone, you also might have a different build. Namely, you will probably have the water treatment unit build, which is this guy, where you'll have these 10 water treatment units. Actually, I'll make it a better picture than that. Hold tight for a second. This guy. It no longer lets me open image in new tab, which is weird. You'll have this build with these 10 water treatment units, and the pipes are slightly different, so, but for the most part, this is the main difference, okay? So everything else should be the same. Now, when we're looking at this, what you're going to be working with is 2 things. These refineries up here, and this molding unit, okay? That's what you'll be editing around to tool your base. So, the big thing I need you to understand is these 3 refining units right here, well 4 really, but these 3 refining units must always be working. Alright, these 3 must always be working. Actually, these 4, that's going to split out sewage. So these 4 need to always be working, alright? Never turn these guys off, they need to always be working, because they are supplying sewage to your zircon reactors. However, you can think of each one of these lines of cuprium ore as 30 of your cuprium ore right here. Okay? See how it says 360? 360, which is 36, divided by 3. I'll just say the numbers. 360 divided by 30 is 9, right? I'm sorry. Wow, it's not 9. It's freaking 12. Math. So, with that in mind, guess how many we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 outputs of cuprium ore, right? That's cuprium ore right there. So, each increment of 30 is what you get to turn on. So, if you have only 120 yield of cuprium ore, that means 120 divided by 30 is 4. That means you can only have these 4 running over here. All right. If you have less than that, you just cannot use this build. When you get to that, you can start using the build, really. But regional level 12 and up. So these 4 will always be on. As you get more cuprium ore from leveling up the regional development and mining, hooking up more mining nodes, as you get more, every 30 you get, you can start turning on more and more buildings to the right. Okay? Now, these 4 will give you more hedanite. These 4 that's making powder will give you more hedanite. I would advise doing these 4 after you do these 2. These 2 will give you cuprium ore to make parts. So you can turn on one of these if you want, and then start these 4, and then come back to this one. But you can really do it in any order you want. You just need to be aware of what it's making. This is for cuprium parts. So I would advise that, because you probably will need cuprium parts. This is last. No matter what, these 2 you can turn on last. They are for making Yazan C, or sorry, Yazan A. So turn these 2 on last. So these, after you have these 4, if you want more hedanite, you can turn on these 4. If you'd like to make cuprium components, turn on these 2, and you can turn on 1 here, and then 1, whatever you'd like. Just know that this is for making cuprium parts, this is for making Yazan A, this is for making more hedanite. And this is a bonus, so this comes on last. Once you have 330 and 360, that's when you turn these 2 on, alright? So you'll turn these off. You need to turn them completely off, alright? They will not brick your base, don't worry about it. But that's it. That's how you tool your base as you progress through wooling. And you get more and more cuprium ore, you can turn on more and more cuprium refineries, alright? Once you are level 17, that means you have enough stuff to finally access or turn on the extra without bricking other stuff, okay? So once you're level 17, once you have the 540, you'll need this specifically, 540 a minute iridium ore, 120 ferrium ore, 360 cuprium ore. Once you have those 3 numbers, all right, because that means you're regional development level 17, that's when you can come back and you can turn this guy on, this packaging unit, and actually that's it. The rest of it is going to start making itself. Turning on this packaging unit will activate this grinding unit to start working again, right? To start making extra batteries for you, all right? That you leave this off because you do not want this making anything. You need this down. You don't have enough originium ore yet. Really, you can turn this on once you get 540 ore, but I would just wait until you're level 17, and you can ensure that you have every other thing working already. Okay, that's it. That's actually it. Once you turn on that stuff in marker stone, this will start working on its own. Once you turn on the bottles, the molding unit, the 2 at the bottom, these 2 refineries will start making molding, go into the molding unit and make bottles, and that will kickstart this packaging unit. That's why I say to do that last, because this is purely extra. This is extra stuff we're making, so you can do it last. All right, that's it. That's the whole video. If you got questions, leave them in the comments. I will see them and answer. Check the doc first, though. Check the other videos. I probably answered in there somewhere, but hey, just ask me, I'll help. All right, that's it.